And there we go. So, hi everyone, I'm DayTraderRockStar for DayTradingRadio.com, and what I'm going to do is do a review of last week's 10 for 1,000 watch list, because there was some really good chart setups on that, and there's actually some good stocks that are just about ready to trigger some alerts. So I'm just going to start off with a video about that, a review of last week's picks. This is an example. What you're looking at here is actually a portfolio, or a watch list that's on the site Day Trading Radio, and it's from the watch list. Each one of these stocks is featured on a video that goes out every Sunday, and then during the week, if the buy trigger is hit, you'll get sent an alert. If the targets are hit, you're sent an alert, and basically these show the alerts that have been sent and hit. So most of the alerts, buy triggers, have been hit. 7 of them have been hit their target in 1 week. So these are, some good things. But I want to actually go into a lot of the other stocks on the list, because there are a lot set up for this week too. So let's start off with Ameritrade here. And I think I actually have to pause this for a second, just for a second here. All right. We left off talking about Ameritrade, and there's a chart of Ameritrade, and you can see the beautiful trend line that's coming down to meet the stock price here. I could even go out further to be another one way out here, and then of course we're hitting the trend line right here. But basically I have a nice inverted head and shoulders pattern, a nice pullback. We started buying into the pullback, recognizing the inverted head and shoulder slanted trend line, which is even better, and the stochastics look fine. They were just hanging out here. They weren't really getting extremely oversold or overbought, but they were just actually just maintaining their level. So it was actually a very bullish setup. So going forward into next week, you definitely like to continue with the Ameritrade, and I feel this is going to break out and have a nice breakout up through 1950 very easily. So we're long and strong on Ameritrade and feel very good about that one hitting the target of $19. All right, next one on the list was Dell, and we had a buy trigger at 1341 and a target of 14, which we went right up against $14 on Friday. And again, you can just see the small little pullback, but overall Dell, again, probably going to be on this week's watch list, because it's very set up excellent here. Nice uniform pattern here, closing above the 20-period moving average, and probably look for a break of Friday's highs to see that continuation move. The stochastics are still set up nice. So Dell is, even though it did hit our target for the week, it is setting up for next week too. Form Factor, here's a nice stock. Probably going to be on this 10 for 1,000 watch list this week too. And what I like about this one, it's triggered 1667, and it looks like it's just flagging out here. The stochastics are starting to embed, but underneath the extreme 100 line here, which is usually very bullish, and I'll just look for that continuation breakout here on Form Factor, FORM. Next one, I'm going to fire through these now. Another one on the watch list was Forest Labs, with a 2970 move out of this pullback, and we had that nice move, and we did pretty good on it. We took it off the table. The overall target was 31. I think I took it off 30 something, and but this is. It's a market of feeling where you want to start taking profits. You're going to get the good entries here, but you just have to thing I say every day on the radio is, hardest thing is to take the profits, because you might be in a great position here and end up watching the stock run away, but you have to have that discipline to continue to take those profits. General Mills, GIS, something to watch going into next week, not interested. IMN, again, this was a classic example of a 2200 squeeze, where you have the price level pushing up against the 200, and then getting above the 20 and consolidating above the 20-period moving average and squeezing right up into the 200. So I call it the 2200 squeeze. I trade this example all the time, and it's a very powerful and very good setup here. So if you happen to see them on the charts, definitely send them to me, because I'll be trading them. And that was IMN here. So that was on the watch list. Based on that pattern, of course, we got a nice return. 962 was the buy trigger, and 1050 was the target. So we hit that. Very nice. Intel, INTC here. One of my favorite bets going forward right here. Nice flag here. Stochastics are set up perfectly. Remember we talked about Ameritrade, where Ameritrade was just AMTD, just the stochastics were just like this. You see how the gradual, this is a great example. You see that just a gradual little pullback here. It's not a big steeper pullback like this, but it's just a slow gradual pullback, and the market's slow gradually pulling back here. So the same thing is happening right now in Intel. Very light gradual pullback, not a steeper, and just a very nice flag here. So we're going to see this explosion out of here on Intel. And again, 2105, it did trigger it, just never got back above it. We're going to close at 2080, but no problems there. Going to go to 23 very fast. Big pick on my watch list. Lockheed Martin, LMT. This was an easy setup, nice inverted head and shoulders pattern, very long pattern, so you knew the next breakout would really probably get some continuation move here, and we did. Lockheed Martin was an easy, actually it was 78 to 81, so almost over 3 points on that. Monsanto, MON. Now Monsanto's going to probably be looking at it very closely. We had a nice bounce off the lower trend line here, which was a trigger, and had a nice move right up to the 20-period moving average, and then we pulled back off of that. But the overall channel pattern here is something very important for Monsanto. Hit the target and everything, but the important thing is this is going to set up for another trade, and we're going to have an easier trade the next time, especially if it comes down to that 67, 66 lower trend line. Even if it breaks out, it's going to be a setup. It's going to be great. So this is like money in the bank when you're able to recognize a trade before it happens, and just put it in the money bank, and then when it's time to cash it in, you just cash it in. NAT here, and still in a nice inverted head and shoulders pattern, and it still looks pretty good. So I'm going to continue to watch this next week. NITE, NITE. Again, the pattern's still here. 1, 2, 3 times over the 20. I'm looking at this one as a 2200 setup, just like we talked about before. The 2200 setup. It looks very bullish for that. Look for the breakout to the upside of that moving average, and we might see that this week. So NITE is going to be top on the list. Option Express was another one that I loved in that scenario. It was the 2200, and there's that pop, and of course, great watch list pick. I mean, if you see these setups, it's very likely they're going to get these results here. So that hit then. SIAL. Again, that's a great channel breakout here. We had a little pullback, double bottom, and we looked at that double bottom here, and it just took off from there. So that hit a nice target. That was $47 was the $47.77 was the buy trigger. The target was 49. It closed at 52.93. And the last one, which I really like going into next week, is our little buddy Western Union. Now this is probably going to be close to a kick-ass trade of the week, because momentum's starting up, and this one starts to run. I could easily see this one getting pretty good. It's a low price, but a potential workhorse when it comes to upside action here. So that's it. That's just a little review of the 10 for 1,000 watch list. I want to get the 10. I want to get the this week's 10 for 1,000 watch list out right now. So I'll get to that, and hope you see in the markets Monday.